What's up, guys? This is Forgotten Legend Series, Volume 2, Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas was an interesting prospect coming out of high school as a 6'3" combo guard, which wasn't very common at the time, to be able to facilitate and score at a very high level, so he could play both the point guard and shooting guard position. In his first year, he averaged 15 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds and 2 steals, which is a great freshman year. But the next year was a better year. Even though he averaged similar stats from his freshman year to sophomore year, this time his team went to the NCAA Finals, where Gilbert Arenas had great future NBA talent such as Lauren Wood, Richard Jefferson, Luke Walton, and in that second year that team went 27-7. But then they made it to the NCAA Finals where they lost to the Duke team, who had future NBA players as Carlos Boozer, Shane Battier, Jay Williams, Mike Dunleavy Jr., and Gilbert Arenas didn't have a great game. He finished the game with 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists, but the major downfall for the Arizona team was they let Mike Dunleavy go off for 21 points. Let this be known, this is not a common occurrence for Mike Dunleavy to drop 21 on the team. This season, Mike Dunleavy averaged 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists.
Is this nigga serious?
But Gilbert Arenas was talented, and he decided to declare for the 2001 NBA draft. And during the draft process, they were interviewing players, and one of the interviewers walked over to Gilbert Arenas and said, "What would you like to get out of this league?" Gilbert Arenas replied, "I would like to become an international pimp." Gilbert Arenas also wasn't giving it his all during these workouts because he believed that he was already in condition, and he was more of a scrimmage type player, so he just really wanted to get out there and show them what he could do. The combination of these factors dropped Gilbert Arenas all the way to the 31st pick in the NBA draft. He was drafted by the Golden State Warriors, where he showed promise in his rookie year. He put up numbers of 10 points, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. But in his second year is where he really started to show much more progress. He had a bigger role in the team, and then that's where he averaged 18 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. And with this jump, he won Most Improved Player of the Year. And in the summer, Gilbert Arenas was entering free agency, and the Warriors could not keep Gilbert Arenas because he was a second-round pick. He was signed to a 2-year deal, so that means that the Golden State Warriors did not have his bird rights. So that means any other team can offer Gilbert Arenas whatever they wanted, but the Warriors could not overexceed their cap to get Gilbert Arenas. So on July 22nd, 2003, the Washington Wizards signed Gilbert Arenas to a 5-year, $51 million contract, and off he went to Washington. Now let's skip to Gilbert Arenas' 4th year to see the real impact of his career. This is where he started averaging 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. He made his first All-Star game, and in that season he led the team to the 5th seed with a 45-37 record. But he lost in the second round to the Miami Heat. Now if we go to these next 2 years, in these 2 years he averaged 28 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. And this is the same season he dropped 60 on Kobe Bryant, then was talking smack to a prime Kobe Bryant. And he said that he couldn't guard him and that he would see him in the next game. Kobe proceeded to say, "Alright, I'll see you the next time when you come here." So Gilbert Arenas pissed off a prime Kobe Bryant. And we all know that never goes right. Kobe always comes in and gives you big numbers and locks you up. But that's not what happened this time. Gilbert Arenas proceeded to drop 37 on a prime Kobe Bryant's head. It was during these seasons where Gilbert Arenas would get his 3 times All-NBA. Then Gilbert Arenas took that team to the playoffs where he was going to go and duel against a young LeBron James. He was able to take LeBron James to 6 games in that 2006 series where Gilbert Arenas was just absolutely getting buckets. Gilbert Arenas was averaging 34 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. But in that game, Gilbert Arenas had the opportunity to ice the game with free throws. He goes and he shoots his first free throw and he misses the free throw, something very unusual for Gilbert Arenas. Then LeBron walks over to him, taps him on his chest, and it bothered Gilbert Arenas. He just didn't know what to do. He missed that second free throw and they lost the game. But Gilbert Arenas' career was on the up. He was making great money, averaging great stats, and he was taking his team to the playoffs and playing great in the playoffs. He wasn't falling up in the playoffs. But then, on April 4th, 2007, Gilbert Arenas tore his MCL, which is a problem for a player like Gilbert Arenas because you wouldn't really think about it because of how skilled he is, but he does rely on his athleticism to get to the rim and blow past defenders. His speed is one of his greatest attributes. Then that next season, Gilbert Arenas would get hurt again, so that left him only averaging 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. Going into the summer of 2008, Gilbert Arenas was a free agent. He opted out of his contract and wanted to see his options. He would have liked to stay with Washington, but if they didn't want to pay him his money, he was willing to leave. The Washington Wizards decided to give him his money, and they gave him a $111 million contract for 6 years. Then this next season, Gilbert Arenas, he kept battling injuries, and he wanted to sit out and make sure that all these injuries got dealt with. So that next season, he only played 2 total games out of the whole 82 season. And this is why Gilbert Arenas' averages went down from averaging 19 points to 13, and then his assists went up because he only played 2 games. So there wasn't that big of a sample size for this season. Although this next year wouldn't get much better. Even though Gilbert Arenas, his stats went back up to averaging 22.7 assists and 4 rebounds. This is where Gilbert Arenas had his infamous gun scandal. In December of 2009, Gilbert Arenas and his teammates were on the team plane, and they were playing cards, where Gilbert Arenas pocketed money that Jarvis Crittington claims that he won in hand. And this caused them to both get into an altercation, and it's escalated very quickly. This led to Gilbert Arenas saying his infamous line, "You know what I do, I play with guns." The next practice, Gilbert Arenas, he would come to the practice facility with 4 guns and lay them out, walk over to Jarvis Crittington and tell him to pick one. This man, Gilbert Arenas, really thought he was Agent Zero. Crittington said, "I have one right here," as he pulled his gun on Gilbert Arenas fully loaded. This led to Gilbert Arenas and Crittington getting suspended from the team for the remainder of the season. And side note, I want to say Gilbert Arenas is very lucky that he didn't get shot in this situation, because on August 19, 2011, Jarvis Crittington killed Julian Jones. So who's to say he wouldn't have done the same to Gilbert Arenas? Years later, Gilbert Arenas had claimed that this was a joke and he meant nothing by it, and he wasn't serious about, pulling the gun and shooting his teammate. In the 2010-2011 NBA season, the Washington Wizards decided that it was time to move off of Gilbert Arenas, and they traded him for Rashard Lewis. And another reason why it wasn't too hard to move off of Gilbert Arenas is because they had a young and up-and-coming point guard named John Wall. And this is where Gilbert Arenas' career started to die. In Orlando, he averaged 8 points, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. Disgusting numbers. Then Gilbert Arenas was waived by the Orlando Magic, so he went to the Memphis Grizzlies, where he would play his last official NBA season, and he put up 4 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. Then Gilbert Arenas retired. And this is just a look back at his career. In his prime, he was averaging almost 30 points per game. Then he dropped down all the way to 4 points per game at the end of his career. He was a shell of himself. He was never, ever the same. And his career was destroyed by a mixture of antics and injuries. And this is just such a tragic story because it's when talent can't stay out of trouble. For example, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is a phenomenal player, but he always gets into some antics every single time. And if I had to look at someone that's on that Gilbert Arenas track to me right now, I'm not gonna lie, John Morant needs to chill out. John Morant's been caught with these beating up minors allegations, these pointing guns at people allegations. He needs to focus on the game, or he possibly could end up like Gilbert Arenas. But hey, this is Forgotten Legend series. Thank y'all for watching all the way through. Y'all please real quick hit that like button, subscribe for more. NBA Sphinx out.